Italy v Ireland
is
the final game at 3 o'clock on Sunday, not Saturday for any travelling fans. That's a bit of a nuisance.
This is sort of sacrilege, but I truly hope that isn't. It's 3 o'clock on a Sunday. I truly hope that they haven't scheduled that to clash with the Man United Liverpool game. That's just going to soak audience numbers away from it, even in this country, in Ireland. I really hope they haven't done that.
Is that when the other?
I know that game's on a Sunday, the Man United Liverpool game, but I have no idea what time it's on.
I don't know.
That's if they do that, that's a really poor scheduling mistake.
Maybe so.
Maybe draw eyeballs away.
True, but
that's a digression.
It is a digression. My eyeballs
won't draw
firmly fixed on the Italian and Ireland teams as they line up for their anthems and stuff. Yeah, a few little interesting ones. We obviously haven't got the teams, as we said before. We're shooting this on Wednesday night, so it'll probably be tomorrow morning as we're uploading this that the teams are already announced. But Ireland did name a squad for this game as well, like a full squad that included the news from it being that Tyke Byrne and Ian Henderson
got cleared for that. But to be honest with you, I watched it. It was much of a muchness in it. Like it was sort of maybe around the neck and sort of maybe a lift. But it was worthy.
Nothing. So Tyke Byrne and Ian Henderson back into the squad. Whether they'll be picked or not remains to be seen. But likely they will be at least a bench. A spot for at least one of them.
I would like to see them rest James Ryan and give one of Delan and Rue
the responsibility
on one of either the bench or the starting team.
Yeah, because we do need to get used to more line-out callers. It can't all be Dev all the time.
They also do want to train Ryan in that role. But
yeah, it's true. It's a balancing act. The other thing about it is Chris Farrell is out as well, so there's no Chris Farrell, so there will be some lack of continuity in the centres again, because I don't know if Ringrose is back yet.
I think this is week too soon for Ringrose. I think it's Aki Henshaw is what
we're looking for. Right. Short balls.
Maybe Addison, but Addison didn't go back to play for Ulster. So
he's nursing something, and he's out of the squad currently because he's back in Ulster nursing some kind of niggle that he got. So it won't be Addison at 13 is one thing that we know. Right. So it likely, like you're saying, will be the very direct Aki Henshaw combo, which similar to what we were saying about what those French centres, where it's limiting our ability to get wide fast.
Unless they play Joey Carberry at 15. But they won't. It'll be Rob Kearney at 15. And that trifecta of playmaking jerseys not being playmakers, of 12, 13, 15 just not being playmakers, all of those jerseys is just a consistent problem in what Ireland are doing. Yeah. It's just consistently, like, to have none of those boys.
Yeah. Like, I'm okay with saying that Kearney is irreplaceable in terms of the defensive setup and what we're doing. I'm okay with saying that, but if that's the case, then what we've arrived at is that if when fit, Gary Ringrose has to be on the pitch because he's another playmaking chance. He just has to be there. Yeah. But now that he's not there, we're going to look very direct, very bludgeoning, and probably get suckered into a game that's a bit too tight, too physical, too early. Yeah. But we will score a few tries even in that exchange.
No, I think we'll be
in the end
tougher than them. Yeah. That's the bottom line, and that they're actually getting a little more proficient out wide, but
their tackling is their first front up tackling is to not.
And that's even true around the fringes. Like they just chip
Ireland will pressure them and ask more questions of them in that area than most other teams, because Ireland are just more willing to go through phase after phase and make them make tackles, and that'll be enough for the Italian line to break and the try to be scored. Whether that's evidence for the system working or not, I don't know against Italy.
I don't think there's
very often it's just a missed tackle or too many soft soak tackles in a row.
There's not a lot we can learn from this one.
No. It's just not. Yeah, it's a good opportunity to give game time to others. This is where the balance. Interesting debates have been going on this. Whether it's like, should you start Sexton in the interest of minutes for the games to come, or like in the context of the World Cup, is it better to give a run out to Ross Byrne or someone like that?
There's no point in playing Ross Byrne, and this is just being frank. It's not a full Test match. Yeah, we learned nothing about Jordan Larmour's competency at fullback from him tearing up Italy from that position. Yeah. Nothing. It was a worthless cap in terms of giving him minutes at fullback. It just didn't teach us anything about it.
It's true.
Other than we know the boy is twinkle toes and he can score tries, and it was a fun day out for him. Yeah. And this is another one of those games. I think, you give Sexton the game, you give him minutes, you have it be more or less the full team, maybe one or two guys rotated out.
Conor Murray, does he need more minutes?
Yeah, no, I'd play him.
You'd start him?
Yeah.
Or would you give him 20 minutes off the bench and give 60 minutes or 50 minutes to the other scrum half, Cooney, who has had 3 minutes of game time in every appearance he's had it for the last little while.
I think full stop, you can't relentlessly talk about depth and then refuse to use your bench.
Yeah.
Full stop.
Yeah.
There's a problem with your system if you're that reliant on your guys, where at 60 minutes you're like, no. Tired, beleaguered, out of form Conor Murray is much better than my backup scrum half.
Yeah. It's like, why is that the case?
That's nonsense.
Yeah. And it's not the case either, I don't think. I actually think Cooney would have improved things.
Yeah, exactly.
Coming off the bench sooner.
Do you know what I feel? Like, I'm very much like passive about this game because I feel like it's going to be a similar picture. But there's one decision that I would like to see thoroughly, and I'd be disappointed if I didn't see it, and I think we will see, is Sean Cronin to start at hooker.
Yeah.
Like, we almost never see that in an Ireland jersey. Every time he comes on for fleeting moments, he impresses, and seemingly the more he can play himself into a game, the more he progresses as well.
Yeah.
He's got this reputation that he made in about 2016 and 15 as an impact sub, and he's also got that turn heel. But he's actually a very competent physical hooker.
Yes.
Who can play
starts games
minutes
for Leinster routinely and is part of a bludgeoning, very successful pack.
Yes.
And his line-out darts, although his technique's not the best and he's not the best at them, he's improved vastly and he's got more consistent with it.
Also, I'm happy to see Andrew Porter is back with Leinster, so John Ryan is going to be...
John Ryan's coming in. They're rotating the props a bit. Kilcoyne's there as well, I believe. Yeah.
You could go for that Munster prop central.
Like they'll monster the Italians easily. They're very, very impressive. Both of the Munster front rows are very, very impressive.
And the ones even behind them, with the exception of your man who keeps giving penalties away. Archer, yeah.
He really bugs you.
He really does.
Ever since that game in the RDS where he kept elbowing, who was it? Ferg McFadden or someone. He did it like 4 times. He's taking the mickey. Off high ball kicks, dropping the little shoulder in there.
Joe Schmidt recognised that too, and he isn't near the squad. But John Ryan is an absolute beautiful tight head. He's like a
proper traditional tight head.
But also perfect modern one because he's super professional, and he's actually quite fit for all of his fundamentals, man. He's a fundamentals man. I love him.
Which is kind of what you need in a to
third
offset.
Choice,
this is it. When you're offsetting a monster like Tig, who's a very unique specimen, like you can't expect all the props to be like that because none of the props are like that. So fundamentals, a few basics done well. Ireland's scrummaging for the last 5 years. So ever since that Tom Court game, that's been the change. Tom Court coming off the bench in Twickenham in 2012. That's right. No, 2011 we won in Twickenham was like the most embarrassing of Scrumgate, where it was just shredded in every scrum. And ever since then, the Leinster Academy has made a cogent, concerted effort to be pumping out more props than before.
And Munster too.
And Munster too now. It was recognised as a problem. It was addressed, and now you're seeing dividends. However many years after it is now, it's 7 years after that we're seeing some of those dividends coming through. So it's a slow process. You can see that. That's where it's you can be more forgiving of Scotland in their depth building thing because it does just take that long for them to phase through.
100%.
But Ireland, scrummaging wise, I have no concerns anymore. Whereas that was never a strength of ours. And there's heroes in green of years gone by. People like the front row of the Bull Hayes, John the Bull Hayes, and Marcus Horan and Jerry Flannery, who were very dynamic. Good, well, Horan and Flannery, very dynamic, good ball carriers, good line out operators.
Horan was actually very proficient at the defensive breakdown. He had poaches in him
for sure. But the one thing none of them could do was scrummage to the elite level at all, and they just routinely got monstered by packs, England packs, France packs, New Zealand packs, any packs from anywhere. It was always parity was all we could ever aspire for, and the few days we got it, we looked very good and won those games. Whereas now that's a complete sea change. It's a weapon for them. And in games like this, if our systems are a bit staggered for a little bit inaccurate in our shape, we can lean back on the set piece as a way to just get the job done efficiently. And I would say this game is no different because we are a few degrees. There are a fair few degrees of separation in terms of caliber in that area.
It's good to see John Ryan in there because personally, he's for me, he's probably the best scrummager in Europe. Full stop from the tight end position. He's very good to watch and very sly and savvy, and you never see him get beat up, and you routinely see him do crazy things to inexperienced props. He comes off the bench in scrappy scrums and for Munster, and then he just
absolutely
he does that little adjustment when he's on the blind side of just changing his bind and pushing up the chest. He has all the tricks. He's a very good scrummager. And I thoroughly enjoy watching him. But I also think he's a fundamentals man. He's very good. he suffers from the fact that he doesn't have anywhere near Andrew Porter's explosiveness off the bench. Andrew Porter is brilliant off the bench. But so good that if Tyg Furlong goes down, I would lean on starting Ryan, which is why it's good to get him out there
and get some minutes in
green to the boys.
Yeah, for sure.
But that said, this game for everybody isn't a full test. It's half a cap in terms of World Cup prep. It really is.
It is, but
it's no preparation for a World Cup quarterfinal.
It's not, but they still want to be implementing shape through their ball in hand, putting together some moves, getting some confidence in it, which is why scoring some tries, even if soft, they kind of need to do that. They didn't get the bonus point they probably ought to have last week when it was on the table. This is a game against Italy, caliber of opposition much further down. Even if it's a chop and change squad, they should be going out there to score a lot of tries.
Absolutely,
bully them in Rome and just execute some of their plays, because thus far they haven't been able to flow in their game at all. And even if we're pointing out, yes, we probably do need a second playmaker in there just to offer us an out when it's not going well.
Definitely do.
And you just need another route to go on to try and find space elsewhere. But even failing that, we need to be running through our systems a little bit more accurately than we are. Like even in Murrayfield, there were some good strike plays. The Stockdale try was good, but there were a lot of times where we were slow with ball in hand to get into our shape. And even though we've generated the quick ball, because our resourcing the ruck is very good, Murray feels he can't pass it yet because he's still waiting for the boys to set up in their pod, and it takes 1-2 seconds before he can release the ball from the ruck. It's like that wasn't the case last year. We were very, very efficient in the multi-phase, going through those 3 to 5 set kind of strike plays, and everyone knowing exactly where they were, doing their shape very, very well, offering pictures, and especially if we dominate physically, that kind of malaise of varying options running off Sexton and off Murray coming, it does bamboozle teams when we're dominating them. But we haven't been quick enough to get into our shape this year at all. Even in Scotland, when some of it was stifled, it seems like a lack of confidence, which is why this will be a good game. However, like the standard is dropped in terms of the standard of opposition. It'd be a good one to just get some of that right, and that'll definitely be a focus for them. You feel is just do what we've been doing better than we've been doing this year, because we haven't shown, just for our own sake.
The dilemma is that I think what England exposed is that. And that's I think that's Joe. I think what you're articulating there is essentially Joe's thoughts on the matter. And like, listen, it may be right, but I think what England exposed is that things are going to go wrong. There are deeper issues with that, but like none of it's going to be solved with the Italy game anyway. From Italy's perspective, Ireland have just so had the Indian sign over them for the last number of years.
Conor O'Shea's never beaten the Ireland team.
No, sure
they haven't won since. I know.
No surprise at all.
Yes, of course.
But they haven't laid a glove on them. They haven't been close to them.
Yeah, it's been and the average has been something like 40 points or 35 points.
It's just it's something like that. It's been just a procession ride for Ireland virtually every time. I don't expect much.
The closest they got was in the World Cup. It came within. Was it 10 or 7? They were near to us.
I can't remember, but probably that was a very poor World Cup. But what you would expect from Italy is to what you would want from Italy is to take a leaf out of Zebra's book, which we'll talk about later, and go for some tries, get some tries on the board early. Like with Tommy Allen at 10, I just like the way that they're going to attack. They're going to try and be flat to the line, take advantage of some of the disjointedness, go wide, be sharp, keep your handling good, and maybe you can get some Campagnaro breaks and some purchase with a few offloads. Get the hands of Bram Stain and co loose and throwing offloads and trying to create chaos and speed.
Well, their lack of a kicking game is still a problem for them.
Huge
for anything. Like they can't manage a game. They can't get themselves out of their own territory properly at all, because they have no confidence in their 10, who you suspect is really actually a 12 in disguise.
I think he
Tommy Allen,
100%.
But he just doesn't kick the ball ever, and he runs it very, very well. He passes it quite well as well, better than we've seen in a lot of recent fly halves from Italy and just players from Italy in general. So he can actually find a good pass on it. But they're just too one-dimensional. They don't kick enough ball. Therefore, they're never really playing in the right areas. They're still more prone to mistakes just because they're not at the quality, and they're being put under such duress from these players or these teams that are genuinely superior to them. So it's going to be a big challenge. I worry for them with Ireland's this Ireland style of play doesn't match up well for them, because Italy are not poor defenders is one way of putting it. really poor tacklers, as we've been highlighting, just like not good at the first up tackling. And Ireland, more than any other tier 1 team, are going to make tackles all day long, because we're not going to be looking for like lines that are completely cutting, and particularly with those two centres, it's going to be just bludgeoning all the time, going through 20 phase sets and 30 phase sets, and that will be enough to result in tries.
They have more offensive rucks by truckloads than any other top
team.
tier
Yeah,
team.
I think it's like an average of 140 offensive rucks per game, as opposed to 70 or 80 for other teams.
This is a pivot back, but I would love to see the amount that Georgia go through. I think it's probably comparable.
It is comparable. I would say Georgia are little tier 2 cousins in that regard.
Indeed,
like, they just love the contact.
Yeah.
So like this is gonna. That's kind of partly why I think Italy just have never really been able to front up against us, is because we seem to test the areas they are worst at the most consistently and repeatedly, and there's never really a fear of us like stifling with it, because it's just going through our processes as the team that we are. We don't have to deviate from them to get immediate results against this Italy side.
It's so hard to picture how they can get outside us as well. We've 14 men up. That's not going to change. Rob Kearney's going to be fullback.
Yeah, this is the other thing. The one area you would think, and England did expose us, like they're still not kicking the ball.
They're not.
So
they're
Rob
never
Kearney's
going
to have an armchair ride, wandering up and down, back and forth the backfield all day, not seeing much action at all because he won't be tested.
So it's really it's you know, throw offloads in the contact, try and keep the ball as quick and chaotic as possible, flit it to the wide channels, get Campagnaro on the ball going forward, test Ireland's sort of, you know, the Keith Earlses and Stockdales.
I do think Henshaw's at 13 though is kind of kryptonite for
I mean it's just like that listen, they've been going for that and throwing intercept passes against us virtually every game. And so like I remember that who got it was Stockdale try last year when it was a tap and go penalty to try and increase the tempo, and you can see what they're thinking and trying, and they just pop it to Stockdale who runs in. It could be one of those.
That was Henshaw actually. Was it
Henshaw?
Yeah,
maybe
that
it was
the
Henshaw.
one where he broke his arm in actually. Right. It was Parise through that pass. It was Parise tapped and went, tried to get it to him, and it was just thank you very much.
So it's an interesting one. Other than another, you know, Herculean effort from Bram Stain, I can't see them causing many problems.
You know, like they're going to be like. I heard a good interview with Conor O'Shea on Off the Ball during the week. That was good. He's talking about like he's minding a lot of their mindset a lot of the time as a coach, as well as like obviously cultivating it's a big job that he's on, and it's a big plan that he's going for. But with this team, he's really trying to look for energy levels and effort could be in the same and being consistent. He's proud of the fact that they're still performing at the end of games, even when they're out of them. They're still looking for tries. They're still actually their fitness has improved. He's citing Treviso a lot in terms of his talk about how they should be performing, just purely because Treviso are the only ones that have experience winning now. And he wants to get that in, wants to bleed that in through some of the players. That's partly why players like Carlo Canna, who you've been calling are probably being omitted in favour of the two Treviso boys this year, because he wants more.
It's costing them dear with their kicking game
currently, yes. But like the idea, obviously is to have Zebre have a better season next year and Treviso to repeat their form and like build slowly but surely, filter through some of these under-20s who have done really well as well. And you know,
I think he's doing a great job in literally every area except the actual, you know, tactics and rugby playing of the top team. In terms like that's, and I actually agree that they like. There's a long-standing. A lot of people are saying it, but if you could move him to director of rugby and have a coach come in, it probably would make a lot of sense, because right now I think they are genuinely getting things wrong, and just for a side like that not to have a kicking game is crazy. And
you think,
well, it's just like in this game it probably leaves them very wanting. But like maybe not. Like I'd love to see. A huge part of the problem was that Tibaldi went down. I'm not sure if he's back or not. If he's back, you know, he can kick.
He is a kicker.
So I mean,
just changes their exit, changes everything. But
that needs to be appreciated by them. And like, I mean, we'll get into the Pro 14 in a little while. But Carlo Canna was perfectly lovely against Leinster. He was looking like Johnny Sexton. He was getting some of those delayed balls. I think he's a perfectly fine 10. And as much as you want to build the Treviso culture, you do well to get your best actual 10 on the field at 10, and that's who in my view Canna is. Not to say that he would be a miracle worker. He makes mistakes. He's still, you know, not a guy who would be in a tier 1 team.
No, he's still an Italian club level 10,
yes,
know, which is where he's at, but that's the pool you're picking from. So yeah, no, it's a good argument. The salient point is that kicking one as well, and the other being that they should be going for 4 tries, gunning for 4 tries.
Even
every time they kick off, gunning for 4 tries.
Yeah, I'd love to see them set them all well. I mean, I know they're big men. Yeah. One of the areas where they might have a bit of purchase is in the defensive line out. Because Sean Cronin might be at hooker and they might be a bit of disjointed line out calling with no dev.
Yeah,
and
so they need
Bramstein
as a baller. Bramstein up at 2 and just disrupt. And if they can get a bit of that, they can.
Bit of turnover ball, bit of something, maybe.
Yeah, Tommy Allen can run a bit of turnover ball. They can go a bit wide.
Yeah. Even in the context of this squad, just to pivot back to that last point, I would rather see them rather than what they're doing now, I would rather see them move Tommy to 12 and put McKinley in at 10. Yeah. But I actually think Cannon's a little better than McKinley.
But that would be comparable. Like McKinley does kick even when he comes on, they kick it a bit more.
That's the 4% of plays they're kicking is when McKinley
comes on toward the end of the game. Yeah, it's mental. But you're probably right because there's nothing really happening in the 12 jersey. Campanaro is a shining light ball in hand for them, so he does need to be there at 13. However defensively frail he is thus far.
Yeah. They don't have a defensive stalwart to put in there though. It's not like it's not like they're leaving Brad Barrett at home.
No,
they don't actually have that to pick from.
So it's true. So you make the most of the tools you have. And to be honest, I have seen sufficient signs of improvement in performance over the last year and year and a bit in the main side. It's just they're in a tournament against teams that are constantly improving in World Cup cycles. That are their goals are such that they're set on looking at the All Blacks. Most teams are looking at the All Blacks as the example, and then meanwhile Italy have had to put out a load of fires that have been there for years, and Conor Shea's done a good job of cleaning that house, but his rate of progression isn't the same as the other teams at the top level.
His grassroots is like a third of the town of Parma and Treviso, the town of Treviso. Like that's what he's working with.
It's a very small pool.
It's a very, very small pool. It's it's amazing they are where they are. And from that pool.
So with the mind, we'll pivot back to just a broad point on the game. Expect realistically a bonus point win for Ireland. Is all that Ireland can take from this with a mind, even half a mind towards still being in contention for the tournament. If Wales win, you never know. It could be thrown back in the mix again. But they need a bonus point win from this, and they pretty much need to max out.
They would probably still need Scotland to win in Twickenham,
even if that is the case. Yeah,
and that's a big ask. But so that's probably not going to happen. In terms of regaining confidence, for the more tangible difference in confidence for either side, I would say you would need Italy to be within 10 points to get any real confidence out of it. Maybe 10-15 depending on how the game goes.
Well, if they're within 2 points at 60 minutes and then it blows out, there's some stuff to take from that game.
From Ireland's perspective, for me it would really have to be 60 plus kind of thing. That's honestly, because otherwise they'll just be like, oh, same old, we beat Italy, but we're still in this. Like in terms of their mindset, it would have to be something all black impressive for them truly to get a feel that they're back in the groove. I mean, that's why it's such almost a frustrating game for them at this point of the season. They've had their week's break. They're going to have this game. They're going to have another week's break, and it's just a lot of time to stew on what have been some very unconvincing top level performances.
For the first time in a whole year. Thank you very much for watching that video. If you're new here, please like and subscribe down below, and leave a comment as well, because we enjoy the chat and conversation. Thank you.